Just a few film nerds breaking out of a rut, drooling over cinema that's hard and uncut. Stick us in your ear, thrill to this month's picks, and come and listen in, we're measuring flicks.
You're texting though. You multitask.
I can totally multitask, man. I am a man of many talents, one of which is... There's like, hello everyone, and welcome to Measuring Flicks. I am Karl Hartley.
I'm Max Peterson.
Holy shit.
Our most disgusting intro ever. That was fun, actually.
It kind of was. It was a bit of improv and a bit of disgusting.
And this is the most fun I've ever had. Not the most, yes, no,
Let's be
it
careful
was.
with that. I don't know.
Throwing around the fun term.
The fun term.
Well, you and I watched this film under very different circumstances, but we should probably tell people what the film is. Everybody, welcome to Nicolas Cage Munch. Munch. It's a Nicolas Cage
episode's gonna go.
Munch.
Well, it is Nicolas Cage month, and this is the first episode of that month featuring Nicolas Cage.
Correct. This is also we've given the month, the theme, a fun little title. This month's theme is Nick Picks.
I forgot about that. And I'm so happy that is a thing.
Thank you, Bird, for that title. Okay, so today we're watching our first Nicolas Cage movie.
Yes.
I don't know the year of it, but it is.
We do have our in-house
we do.
research assistant today, Gabe Hartley. What year did this flick come out, Gabe?
2011.
2011.
All right.
It seems like it just came out
Like
yesterday.
it should have been like 1986.
Well,
it maybe would have been more forgivable if it was 1986. So today we are watching Drive Angry, or the subtitle, Kooky Cults and Car Porn.
what is that?
That's
really?
not really the subtitle.
Okay. I would have been better prepared for what it was that I saw.
Oh my God!
Had that been the actual
at the
tagline.
end of this movie, my note was Kooky Cults and Car Porn, and I was like, that's what I just watched. That is exactly what I just watched. So Drive Angry. Karl, give me your hot take.
So in watching this, Danielle was doing other things while I was watching a movie, like she's wont to do.
Sure.
Because a lot of times I watch very strange movies for this particular podcast. And at one point she came in and was watching it with me. I don't remember what part it was. It was probably the agent surfing on a tanker truck.
Of hydrogen?
Of hydrogen.
Which makes a blue
or a
explosion.
stripper scene or something, and she was watching it for a moment, and then she turned and looked at me and was just making a face at me, like a sort of like, what the hell is wrong with you face?
Like,
and I looked at her, I'm like, what? I didn't make the movie. Like, I'm just watching it, but she was so shocked by what she was saying, seeing that she was like blaming me with her eyes.
You brought this into our home.
How dare you bring this trash into our home?
Maybe she was looking over like, Karl, you're supposed to be watching a movie for measuring flicks right now.
Right.
Not garbage.
Not this garbage. I'm like, honey, it is.
It is.
But you were watching The Searchers like 2 weeks ago.
The Searchers, and didn't you watch that Clint Eastwood movie, that Oscar winner? And you're like, yes, and now I'm watching Drive Angry.
So if I could like just sum up this movie and just the thought that I had at the end, towards the end, is like, wow, this movie is like Sharknado. If there weren't sharks or NATOs. Like,
that's actually a pretty good summation.
It's like Sharknado meets what wants to be like the third Ghost Rider movie.
Did you? This is the sequel to Ghost Rider 2.
Oh yeah, this
Ghost Rider with a Revengeancer.
With the Revenge
and Sing. The Revengeancing. Did you Oh my God! I heard this film mentioned, like, just we picked this film like almost half a year ago at this point.
Like 6
but
months ago.
I was listening to another podcast, last podcast on the left, and one of them mentioned having recently watched Drive Angry, and they described the way this was their review of the film. Yeah, with Nicolas Cage movies, you can always tell when it's getting close to tax time, and he has to just start saying yes. But I want to say we watched this in different circumstances.
Right.
Do you watch this alone?
Yes.
So you watched
This seems like a get together with a bunch of friends and watch it.
Yeah.
Not I need to watch a movie for a review show.
Okay, so you
by yourself.
You watched this alone for a
with
review
a pad
show.
of paper and a pen ready to take serious notes.
Yes, and you also watched it fresh off the on the tail end of 4 of the greatest films ever made in the Westerns month.
Yeah.
I watched this movie with my 3 roommates, one of whom is my wife. She's not really a roommate, more a wife. But so I watched this movie last night with Alan, Aaron, and Bird, and part of what made I fucking had a blast watching this. There were literally moments where all 4 people watching the film were cheering and clapping. I did
not have that experience.
Now, this is not a good movie, guys.
Oh, no. All the CG looks like the pre-rendered test CG.
The early stuff does, and that mirror is the worst CG I've ever seen. The mirror
I didn't even know what I was looking at first.
You're like, oh no, there's a computer glitch, or like, oh, my copy's fucked up,
Right.
but it's literally a breaking mirror.
mirror.
You're like, there's a guy's face in this. Did they just film this over another film?
They did.
They may have. I don't know if they did or not.
Was that in when he was drinking whiskey, having sex with a
we're
prostitute
gonna talk about
while shooting the?
I'm sorry. Are you referring to the best sex scene ever underlined
again?
The best sex scene ever? Dude.
I guess so.
Dude. Okay. So this is not a review of the film. The review of the film is this movie's a bad movie.
Yes.
That's we are in consensus.
Oh, this is a horrible movie.
Okay, so we agree. Now, let you shit and let me celebrate
Fair enough.
upon this film.
Oh, I'm going to watch it again.
God. Dude. Okay, you're going to watch it again?
Yeah.
I'm clearly going to watch this movie
I'm
again.
inviting friends over to watch this movie.
Get yourself some drinks, watch the shit
It's
out
going to
of
be a
this.
hoot and a holler because I feel like this movie deserves that. What this movie doesn't deserve is a 40-year-old dude by himself with his girlfriend doing chores, watching it seriously and intently for a film podcast.
Tell me you were in a bathrobe.
I was not. I was wearing pants, which I don't think you should watch this movie wearing pants.
If you're wearing pants, you're watching this movie wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
The worst way to watch this movie is a man in your 40s
With your eyes.
in a bathroom. No, I agree. You have to watch this movie with your heart.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, guys. Right off the bat, my first note is, oh look, it's Need for Speed: Hot Pursuit, the PC version. The opening scene, it looks exactly like this, like the
PlayStation
CG.
1.
It's PlayStation 1 CG.
Yep.
However, I do like the content, which is a car driving over the ramparts of the castles of hell, and then cruising on down, I guess, highway. Is that Highway 66?
I'm guessing.
Route 66 runs straight to hell if you follow it long enough. And Nicolas Cage cruises on out that bad mamma jamma. It's not really Nicolas Cage though. It's a character. It's a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. So there's no driver.
So there's no driver.
Oh my God. And when I heard the voice, I thought that opening scene, you know how sometimes when it's like Arrow Films, they'll do the production company will have a weird 30-second movie at the beginning of the movie. I thought that this was going to be
like the Twisted Pictures
I thought it was going to be like a Car Out of Hell production. I was going to get a freeze frame and then the logo would come up, but no, the narration starts and I'm like, "Oh, this is the film." Guys, pay attention. Pay attention. The movie actually started.
Who was I doing the voiceover? Was that Nicolas Cage?
No, I think it's the guy who plays the accountant.
Okay.
By the way, Gabe, can you look up who that actor is? Because I want to shout.
It's William Fichtner.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more time.
William Fichtner, or however you pronounce it.
Fichtner, because he is one of those guy behind.
He was the best part of this movie. Okay, we both agree on that too.
If it wasn't for him, this movie would have been
dog shit.
Like
not even fun dog shit.
No, horrible dog shit. But this guy was in Armageddon. He's been in a whole bunch
He's in
of
Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
This guy's a good actor.
He's got serious acting chops, but he was the only one that I felt was understanding what this movie was and was having the most fun with it.
Yes.
Where Nick Cage was taking it way too seriously.
I don't know if Nick Cage. Let's talk
or
about.
Not.
Let's do performances really
Sure.
quick.
I
have a note. I was watching this movie. The movie was so bad that I did this thing where I was watching Nicolas Cage, and there are here's a line, and I'm going to do my best Nicolas Cage doing this line. Good job, Trinity. I can feel it. The bullet is in my head. I can feel it. That's like the delivery we get. That's the level of, and
I can feel it.
So I wrote down, yeah, your Nicolas Cage is better than mine, but I wrote down, is there some sort of subtlety going on in Nick's performance?
Nope.
There's not. About 5 minutes later, I wrote no. And then underneath it, I wrote, but there is subtlety in the accountant's performance.
Yeah, there is.
Like, there's a... in his performance, he's definitely like fun and over the top, and he's playing. He knows that this movie is like garbage,
right?
But he's playing like the fun garbage parts, like when he walks into the cult church at the end.
Oh yeah,
or near the end, and he walks in.
The guy with the bad wig.
Yeah, and he looks down at the best wig. Dude, that's so fucking bad.
Great?
His hair's terribly awesome.
Did you see in the credits that his name is actually Bad Wig Guy or something?
Is it?
Yeah.
See, even this movie knows what this movie is.
Oh, of course, the people in it.
But when he walks up to that,
Nicolas Cage did.
No, one person was trying too hard.
Yes.
But when he walks up to that guy and he looks at his leg and goes, "Whoa, that's fucked up." Or no, what does he say? Oh, he goes, the line is literally, "Whoa, those are fucked."
Yeah, that's right. His first line in the movie is, "Hey, fat fuck."
Yeah, and he delivers it so well.
Yep.
I mentioned to my roommates last night that his deliveries in the beginning of the movie are actually kind of like brilliant acting work, because if he's like he's a demon from hell.
He has an arc.
Yeah, he does. His character has an arc, and you're like, this is out of place. He shouldn't have an arc.
He shouldn't have an arc.
Why can't he be flatter like everyone else? Like Amber Heard's character.
Oh.
Yeah. But when he first leaves hell, he's a demon who's just been made flesh, and he's probably speaking like human language kind of for the first time.
Trying to figure it out.
So in some ways, the dialogue is funny, but I also think it's kind of apt because this is not his native tongue. So he sees somebody, and in demon, it would probably be like, he's using like the translation of his language, which would be like, that guy over there is a fat fuck. And everything he says is kind of offensive.
Kind of like, right.
But also, the way he's enunciating, I said, it's as though he is playing a demon as played by Christopher Walken. Like his cadence is like he doesn't know how to talk right.
Right, he doesn't know where to put the commas and the periods, and
he kind of picks it up the more he interacts with humans. His speech
because he does get a lot
change
more natural
by the end.
By the end,
but his first like 3 scenes, and that's especially interesting because since films are shot not sequentially,
right? He would have had to have
made that as a choice.
Right.
So I think his performance is actually a legitimate performance. It's over the top and goofy
of course,
as
but
fuck.
he saved the movie.
He so did.
Like, yeah.
This movie should have been called The Accountant.
Yeah.
He was so good.
It was fantastic.
However, you gotta appreciate some of Nicolas Cage's moments. This is a month celebrating Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And obviously we're jumping all over as we always do. You should probably watch the movie before you listen to this.
Clearly.
But the scene in the Bull by the Balls or whatever,
yes.
that shitty bar, when Amber Heard's getting her nails painted and there's a couple having sex loudly, I had no idea who that was, and then we pan over and it's Nicolas Cage sitting completely still, fully dressed, with sunglasses on inside, with a bottle of whiskey in one hand, a cigar in his mouth, and a totally naked bartender like fucking the shit out of him, and he's utterly still and silent, and she's screaming, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Dude.
Oh, I didn't even snicker.
Not at all?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Him just sitting there like totally silent with the biggest cigar, just like wafting, and she's going insane. Think like the most ridiculous porn you've ever seen, where it's
I thought that maybe Nicolas Cage actually had fallen asleep and didn't realize they were shooting.
No one had called action yet.
No one called action.
She was just playing around, and the
Right.
director's like, "That's the one."
She's just trying to like find her character.
Yeah, she's like, "What?
Warming up.
How would I scream and moan if I was really having sex with a D-list celebrity?"
Right.
Nicolas Cage is like, "God, I hope the IRS doesn't write me a letter."
Right. Oh shit.
But seriously, I
What
love.
does he say that he never does what before gunplay?
And she goes, "Why don't you?" And I mean, seriously, she's like, "Oh, give me that dick." And then she goes, "Why don't you fuck naked or something like that?" And he goes, "I never disrobe before a gunfight. I never disrobe before a gunfight." And she goes, "What?" Let's talk about that scene, since that's where we are.
All right.
Carl, go. Because I slavishly loved it. I watched the scene 3 times.
It's just not good at all. Okay, so there are fun gunplay fight scenes in movies, right? That sort of like elevate that genre and make you go, oh my God, holy shit, like John Wick, for instance.
Yeah.
Over the top, crazy violence.
But amazing.
Where this is like, they forgot to choreograph it, and then it's like, oh, fuck it, we're here, do something. Just have people running in the doors, and like, there's like, a guy comes in with a sickle. Runs in with a sickle.
That is true. One of the things that I like about that scene is later, all of the bad guys have guns, and even some of the bad guys in this scene have guns, yet most of the bad guys in this scene all have melee weapons.
That, and they shoot worse than stormtroopers.
Is pretty bad.
They're pretty bad. They miss everything.
Even the main character, he empties his pistol.
He's got a 6-gun and he's shooting it all Wild West.
It's a single action. He has a single action revolver. And the scene. Well, hold on. Let's stick with the best sex scene of all time. Nicolas Cage. Look, I really.
No, I know. I'm happy that you got this much enjoyment out of it.
I really do believe. I've always loved.
Shot
and I
a
think
dude through the window.
I think you do too, though. There's a certain joy that you get out of crappy movies.
Oh,
definitely,
yes.
definitely,
absolutely.
There's like a trashy movie. It's not nostalgia. We've talked about nostalgia in the past. It's literally like a base joy at something bad. You mentioned Piranha.
I think those toe a line though between. There's a very fine line between shitty and shitty awesome. And I don't think
there's
this one
bad,
is so close.
and then there's bad good.
Right.
For me, this movie is all about the context you watch it in. I really do. Like, I would recommend watch it again with friends, like having a couple drinks. It's really fun because if you head over to Patreon, you can hear our series of films, I Spit on Your Grave, which we do with Bird. That movie is not a laugh out loud comedy. No. But when you watch it with three goofy people,
it turns into
it kind of becomes funny.
Right.
With this movie, it was that thing for me. It was bad. And my first 5 notes are all really critical.
I almost feel like they started off like, we're going to make this crazy chase road movie with Nicolas Cage. He's escaped from hell. Like, they were going to not make it serious, but more serious, and then realize that they couldn't afford it.
Right.
And so, like, well, we got to go campy with it. Otherwise, we're fucked. So, like, they like made that turn. I don't think it was the intent, like, to start with.
Right.
But then this director directed, like, Dracula 2000, Dracula 2, Dracula 3000. Like, his movies are not
Dracula
like
4000, Dracula 5000.
Dracula 10 to D.
Dracula 6 in Hell.
Yes.
Dracula Takes Manhattan.
Exactly.
But
it's like,
for me, what made that scene, you were like, they shot a guy out a window, but the mood last night when we were watching it, the first guy comes through and Nicolas Cage shoots him, and the girl he's having sex with freaks out, and he rolls around and he shoots another guy, and that guy breaks a window or a mirror. He breaks a mirror, and it's the shittiest CG you've ever seen. So far we're like, wow, this is bad.
Pretty bad.
But then, Karl, then the guy comes in and Nicolas Cage leans back and the girl leans away from him, and you realize, oh, he's still inside her. They're still having sex at this moment. And then it gets a little better because you're like, this is fairly absurd what I'm watching.
Right.
Then with a single shot from what I must assume is a 50 caliber 9mm looking thing, he tags him once in the stomach and the dude flies a good 6 feet. Feet first backwards out the window. Through a window. Yeah. And by the way, can we celebrate the stuntmen in this movie? Like, for the dog shit that this is, the stunt people,
they're doing work.
The stunt people were doing pretty good.
Absolutely.
There's a pretty cool jump from a Winnebago onto the hood of a car. That was a pretty good shot. And then the Winnebago fight scene, that's definitely a female stunt person. When they're like hitting cupboards and falling, a lot of the fight stuff looked pretty good. Some of the choreography was a little weird, but I really applauded the stunt people. Like that guy who gets shot backwards out the window, his feet
go out the window first and get caught in the blinds.
So if you watch, the stuntman's legs get pulled into the air and he hits chest first on the bottom ridge of that window. Like, he hits hard too. Like, yeah, they're wearing padding, but he went for it though. Like, that was.
I'm here. I might as well.
He's like, well, fuck it. I guess this is the movie we're making. So then that guy goes out, and like last night, I'm telling you, man, we were like, clapping and cheering, and then guy with machete comes in, which is dumb because the guy with the gun comes in and you're like, oh, Nick Cage is fucked, but then machete guy steps in the way and you're like, what's
going on here?
Shoots him in the hand, machete in the head.
Machete in the head. I did go, holy shit! I did laugh out loud at that point. Yeah.
Right. Once you stop looking, like if we had started with Matchstick Men and then watched this, I would have been like, what is this drivel? Because we would have watched a good Nick Cage movie. I'm glad we started with what will easily be the worst Nick Cage movie we watched this month. But oh my God, he gets machete in the face, falls over, and then he hits. You remember the taser, right? The cattle prod?
Oh, yeah.
When he gets cattle prodded and the woman that he's having sex with gets electrocuted through his dick? Come on, Karl! What more can you ask for from a film, from a piece of American cinema?
I guess I missed all of that.
You didn't see? Oh, we'll watch it again. I have it rented.
I've got 12 more hours.
I'll watch it a third time. But no, seriously, the voodoo. I hate that they give you 24 hours to watch your movie. I want like 4 days to revel in the trash that this
just
film
to wrap yourself up in it.
But seriously, when you watch that scene, I didn't really notice what was happening. Bird pointed it out, and she's like, yeah, they're still fucking. She's electrocuted too. Look at her face. And she does.
She is.
She does like a weird thing, and then Alan and Aaron at the same time were like, now she's coming. You can see. Kudos to the actress. But literally, like, and by the way, I'm glad this is the first time that I've met your son. But like,
welcome to the party.
Yeah. You should subscribe to our show if you don't. It's a lot of this.
Whenever you guys are done, I want to really point out something that I'm just now noticing.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'll take a break, but we do have to come back to the electro-penis, the orgasm.
Right.
Yeah, go. Sorry, go.
All right, so you guys know how you were talking about the bad wig person in the cast?
Yes.
Yeah.
It features that. Well, I'm looking through this, and I'm about to use some strong language. Just warning you now.
We don't fucking swear on this show, man.
Well, you know, this is my father. I'm looking through the cast, and everything else is normal. Well, I look at the actors Con, Shell, Nick Gomez, and Joe Crest. They're labeled as fucking driver, fucking middle, and fucking passenger. That's all they're labeled.
That's their names.
That's literally, look, that's what they're labeled as.
These are.
Oh my God.
Are they really?
Yes, look.
Oh my. These are.
I was just looking through it.
Those are life
like,
goal
what
credits.
The hell?
Like,
Then the one guy is like bad wig guy.
Bad wig guy, fucking
I
driver.
can see if I can find him right quick.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude.
See that
this
And
movie-
there's someone, man with wig.
Yeah.
man with wig.
fine.
He does have the worst hair I've
Best
ever
wig.
seen. Best wig. I'm sorry.
When I
yes,
saw
best
that wig, I was like, I'm in love with that wig.
I heard disco music in the back of my head when I saw him. It was like, "Ba-na-na-dun-dun-dun-dun," and then the accountant goes,
I wanted
"Whoa,
him
those
to
are
take me to
fucked."
fuck.
And I'm like, "This is the best movie."
Oh my God.
What's funny is to me though is that you guys were talking about the really bad CG and all that, and how they probably didn't have enough for something like that.
Was this a high budget movie? Please tell me this was a high.
It's like $50 million. That's the estimated budget. The opening weekend, it says that they made about $5 million.
Wow.
So they had no profit.
So they lost a bunch of money.
Yeah,
Well, they
only
got my
made,
$4 last
I
night.
believe they made like $10 million all in
Total?
Yeah, and I think they were all very disappointed.
The total worldwide
I think they were
gross?
all very disappointed.
No, I think they were like, I'm glad we lost $40 million
Oh my
on this
God.
movie.
Oh my God! I'm just looking through it, and it's really hilarious how I've never seen the movie, but I can tell how
just by the IMDb page,
God.
like I can tell.
The IMDb page is not always a good indicator of how
True
a movie
story.
is or
But
isn't.
The thing is, it's saying that it's actually decent. Like it has a 7 out of 10 user review, and an IMDb
What's the Rotten
rating.
Tomatoes score?
Is there a
Rotten Tomatoes?
It should be. It's usually on the top.
on the top.
Yeah, under ratings and reviews. I would love to know because IMDb or the Rotten Tomatoes score, you get the critics score, which a lot of times will be like 20%, and then
Right.
you
It
get
got 6 nominations and 1 win in awards.
what?
Yeah,
What award
so
did it win?
I have no idea.
Go find out what award that won. So, what I love about movies like this is when you see the critics scores, like you'll be like
like a
Roger
4
Roger
out of
Ebert gives it
a
like
million.
a 1,
Right.
and it's like panned or certified rotten, and then you go to the audience scores and it's like, I watched this so fucking stoned. This
Yep.
is my favorite Nick Cage is the best.
95%.
95%, bro.
Most of the reviews.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So, Fangoria Chainsaw Awards.
Some of the gore in here.
It made some World Stunt Awards, like you guys were talking about the stunt.
Really, which
stuntman?
Can you find out which stunts it got?
The Taurus Award, that was a nominee.
Okay.
I think they were both just nominees. I'm not very sure which one they actually direct. Palm Springs International Film Festival. I don't know.
So they hit the smaller film festivals.
They weren't at Cannes.
We went and did the Tennessee Trailer Park
Right.
award. But
Best corn dog craft services.
best use of bad CG blood. I'm amazed this didn't. But okay, there were CG blood, but there was also practical blood. But they didn't use
the practical blood on his face with his eyeballs.
That was
pretty
awesome.
Cool.
We both.
And there were like 6 or 7 different contact lenses.
There were some good contacts.
Yeah.
I thought like some of when he gets shot in the face, there were certain bits where that prosthetic looked great, and there were certain bits where the prosthetic looked less than great. But the scene when the accountant walks in to find out where where Nicolas Cage's character is gone, John Milton, bit on the nose there. Somebody had recently watched Dead Man by Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah.
But when he breaks the baseball bat in half and sticks him to the wall and then throws the other part through his head, that is a dummy. It's definitely a dummy, but that practical, that fucking gore is awesome. Yeah. That's really good.
I loved it when he's tapping.
Tapping the baseball bat and he's like...
Again, he saved this movie.
He's like, your car. What kind of car was it that you drove?
The 440 or the 440
or the Hemi? 440. Then he walks away. While we're there in the film, that coin flip to the FBI flip. That's pretty cool. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Like I was totally swept.
It never went did it ever go the other way?
Which
the coin flip?
The FBI. Do you mean it always came up as the FBI?
Right.
Yeah, he does it one more time later on, and then he uses the coin to kill like 2 guys.
Right.
But there's that FBI flip. There's 3 practical effects in here, or there's 2 in here, and then there's a third one that I'm thinking of that is like that effect. That like little bit of like film trickery was so cool. I loved how, and it's a really easy effect to do, but it's so like casually done. I really appreciated that when the cult leader cuts the woman's throat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great practical because they don't even need to do the throat slit or any
you
sort
just
of
cut to the
right. You do a
splatter.
quick pan and then basically you just got a guy on the ground with it's essentially like a big super soaker and he blows the blood on the wall. Right. And that just the simplicity of that is really awesome. Your
brain fills in the rest of it. So.
Right, and it's a cheap and easy effect, and the effect is really everyone when we were watching last night when he cuts the throat and it goes, psht, we were all like, oh shit, and it's so cheap and easy. Like, why do CG blood when you could just do that?
When you can just do that, yeah, because it's all the
CG blood was terrible.
All the CG
in this movie.
blood looked like when they made the PG-13 Die Hard into an R Die Hard. And all of that blood was like
not good. CG blood never looks good.
I don't think it should ever be done.
No,
when you can do it practically.
If you're going to commit to an action movie, just get your budget together and do practical. I know it slows things down, but the effects are on the screen, man. You know, and you've got $50 million to fuck around with. There's one other effect that I've always loved. I think it's in Rush Hour 2. There's a scene where one character, there's 2 characters in a car, and one throws a knife and it sticks into an apple that another character's eating. And I listened to the commentary, and this was the first time I was, because I always watched that movie, and I was like, how do they do that? They must have got a professional knife thrower. But it's literally just one actor moves their hand, and you do a quick pan,
and the thing's
already in the apple, and she just jerks her head back. That's it. There's a knife and an apple, and audiences watching that are like, oh shit. And literally, it's
just trick photography.
That is a $0 effect, and it's so fucking good. I love that kind of filmmaking.
Yep.
Anybody who is interested in filmmaking, if you go to filmschoolrejects.com, there are tons of guides on like really low budget camera tricks and stuff. It's super cool. That's basically what I do at work when it's slow. It's like I go to Film School Rejects and stuff. Can we jump back to the best sex scene ever?
Sure.
I.e. the worst gunfight ever?
I feel like you live in this scene.
I kind of do. This is my new bread and butter. This is the gunfight that I will judge all gunfights by.
Fair enough.
Erin had a good point. Erin had an interesting point when this movie was done. She said, if this movie had just been recast, it could have been so good. And she was talking about movies like John Wick, like we were talking about earlier. And I don't think so.
If you had an actor that was awake during filming?
Well, if you replace Nicolas Cage with a better actor, I think you still have the same movie because the effects are still kind of shit. Amber Heard's, she might have some more to work with, but she's still kind of phoning it in because everyone else knows that this is kind of.
But you could have also just put in a cardboard cutout of Nicolas Cage and would have very similar.
Had someone off panel be like, it almost feels like he was like they used takes where he was just saying his lines and what they were really supposed to be filming was Amber Heard.
Right.
You know,
like the reverses?
Yeah, like the reverses. Like, okay, we're going to do Amber's shots now. And she's like, but Milton, you're shot. And it turns back to him and, you know, he's like, just got his, it's almost like he's got his script in his hand. He's like, the bullet's in my head. I can feel the bullet in my head. And then, like, she's supposed to be acting and he's like, this is his coffee break.
Right, yeah.
But the director's like, man, that last take of Nick not doing shit at all.
Brilliant.
We're gonna throw that in there.
Print
like
it.
I'm hoping that the sex scene where he's sitting completely still with his sunglasses on. I hope that it almost feels like that's a joke, right?
I can't even tell anymore. Like, it's so bad.
So wait, so they're having sex. He gets cattle prodded.
Yes.
She gets electrocuted, and kudos to her because she has there are no small roles, only small actors. She goes from electrocuted to orgasm so subtly, but distinctly enough that 3 people in the room were able to pick up on it.
Wow,
she's getting electrocuted. And now she's coming. I was like, she is. Good on ya.
Good on ya.
Well done. That's a lot of acting classes to go from electric face to orgasm face. Right?
They're so very similar.
It's a subtle shift. Honestly, it's that. I hope that's
the
minutia of cattle prod to G-spot or whatever. I don't know, but his gun is empty.
Yeah,
and. I love the fact that after he shoots the guy in the foot and then in the head who's tasing him. I like that he takes a moment to have a drink. Mid-gunfight or mid-gunfight.
He never puts down the bottle of whiskey.
No, he doesn't. And I pointed out to Aaron that he is fucking smoking, committing murder, and drinking all at the same time continuously throughout the scene. So he shoots this guy down, takes a moment to pound back some cheap old Kentucky corn, and then a guy walks in with a gun and he goes, oh shit, it's empty.
I'm out.
But he's not quite done having sex yet or something. He makes no move to like kill this guy. He's just like, well, here's how it happens. And he like folds his arms. And then Amber Heard chops him with
a hoe.
A hoe. Do we think that was intentional?
I'm not going to assume that anything is intentional.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Let's not give him credit for it.
Part of me wanted to in the church scene because they have the sign up behind the lectern what psalm was the psalm for the day. It's like Psalm 122. My brain's like, I should look up what psalm that is. I wonder if it has any sort of significance.
And then you're like,
I'm like,
don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Nope. Not worth your time.
Not worth it.
Just go back and watch the shootout
just
again.
Watch it.
Same amount of time, you just get a laugh. After he dies, the smile on Nick Cage's face when he gets up, he's like, "Whoo, that was a close one," you know?
Yeah.
And then he goes over and like starts reloading his gun and turns back to the woman who's now in hysterics.
Right.
Basically goes, what does he say? Calm down.
Right.
I think that's his line.
Jesus.
Aaron pointed out that or I don't know if pointed out is the word, made the humorous comment where I'm like, man, that woman's like having a severe breakdown. I guess it was a pretty traumatic experience. And Aaron goes, it wasn't trauma. What happened is she discovered her kink and now she knows she'll never be able to recreate it.
Oh, that's genius.
I know. I was like, we should get you on
never
recreate that. Yeah, I don't know. I loved that.
Follows her around like a shadow. Just like
every relationship from now on. Like in the quiet moments in the bedroom, she's just like,
honey, I need you to ask you something.
Will you electrocute yourself? Or like, or like,
I need you to get some friends together.
Yeah, like, do you think you could kill somebody?
Like,
oh, you mean like
really
in self-defense? No, just like
more like
because.
Son of a bitch.
All right, I will be critical of a few things though.
Oh, good.
This movie was a riot for a big chunk of it, and then there's a big drop. There's a huge lull.
The story of this movie is like
dumb.
It's so stupid.
But there is a bit though, like, okay, yes, the movie's dumb, but there's literally a scene where he turns his car sideways, a car jumps over his car, and he pulls his shotgun out, and me and Alan went at the same time, oh, and he shoots the gas tank and the car explodes in midair, and we were like, yeah! Okay, the action's fun, it's dumb as fuck.
Yes.
This movie is so stupid, everyone.
It didn't need the story of like him.
You could have just...
He escaped hell because his daughter was dating a cult leader.
Are we going to run through the air quotes
It's only
plot?
going to take 22 seconds.
All right, hit me.
All right,
I'm
so
going to time you.
John Milton's in hell. He got shot. His daughter was dating a cult leader. She got pregnant. She bit his dick off. He killed her. And shit, you're really counting. And so he escapes hell to save his granddaughter, and he has to like fight the bad guys. And then meanwhile, the accountant who the devil sent to chase him down to bring him back to hell. That's the story.
20 seconds exactly. I did Mississippi's, so it might have been slightly longer.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
And I panicked there in the middle because
you realized I was really
counting.
counting. I saw your face. You were like, "Oh shit!"
Oh shit! I'm on the clock. But no, that's it.
The description's right here, so I mean...
What does
IMDb say?
A vengeful father escapes from hell and chases after the men who killed his daughter and kidnapped his granddaughter. So already it's
was
a
quicker than-
huge mind...
Yeah.
He did that in like 5 seconds.
I know.
And actually, you don't need to know any more than that.
No, that's it. That's
You
the entire plot.
Literally gives you everything you need right there. Yeah.
I mean, this is okay. So they're
when this movie derailed for me was when the car got fucked up. They're in this like boss ass Charger.
Yep.
There's a great high speed chase. There's an awesome. It's after he gets shot in the eyeball.
in the eyeball, right?
And the bullet's in his head, and he can feel it.
And they have to push the car.
Yeah. Well, he's really more of a car protector, but
Really more of a car protector.
it's almost like Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Kind of,
rather
yeah.
than Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God.
Our Nick Cages are going to be so good by the end of this month.
I hope so.
Me too. But but when the car gets fucked up, like when you're in a movie, this movie, if they had kept the action going, would have been Crank.
I was thinking that too.
This movie could have been like once you start that madness chase where there's
Don't
like
stop it.
No, like girl falls out of the back of the RV and starts firing and then gets hit by a car. Like the moment she's firing and screaming, you're like, she's getting her
She's
ass
getting hit by
run
a
the
car.
fuck over, and she
Yep.
gets smoked by a car, and you're cheering. And there's a pretty good, like I said earlier, there's a good fight scene in the RV.
Yes.
Where that's close quarters. Like those stunt people did a good job.
But then you slow it down. You
When
have
the-
them pushing
yeah,
the
the car's
vehicle
like,
and finding his old friend that
They
like,
go, yeah, they literally take time
15
to
minutes.
find a mechanic. They're like,
Yeah.
well, we got to fix the car now. Let's push the car.
And then it's somebody that he knew when he was alive.
And who's
They
like,
knew his
"You're
daughter, and then he has this whole moment of remembering, and like, if the fires of hell, they don't burn you. It's they're the you see everything, and that's what hurts the most.
I know you probably, we're not still pooping. that scene at the barrel, there was actually something about Nick Cage there where I felt like he maybe gave a touch of a shit there. You didn't get that at all?
I think maybe
There was, I don't know.
accidentally.
I was, but also you got to remember, I was elated watching the movie,
Fair enough,
so
right.
I was being very generous. But I would give, if I'm being generous,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that scene has a bit. That would be Nicolas Cage's quote unquote.
But he's still
acting
only
moment.
he's at it like a 2 out of 10.
And we've seen Nicolas. Yeah, it's so weird how subdued he is in this
Yeah.
movie because he's famous.
Give
for
me a
being
little
like,
Stanley Goodspeed. Give me a little crazy.
That's
Give me
his
something.
whole thing.
That's his shtick.
His
and he's
whole
like,
thing is like 11 all the time.
right. But he's like, he just woke up from a nap and learned his lines, or maybe didn't.
Or I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's like, I've been dead. So, but I mean, come on.
This is me dead.
No, thank you. I won't. Don't think I'll have that beer just now, unless I'm drinking it out of such and such a skull. That line.
yes!
That line was actually kind of.
Yeah.
When I heard that line, I was like, "That's pretty fucking hardcore."
Right.
But did you? And this, I am reaching so
Even
far.
hell has compassion.
I'm way out of my. I'm way out of my wheelhouse with this movie because
Sure.
my role in this podcast is usually like, so
You sit in liminal space and
I've noticed,
talk about things.
I've
yes.
noticed when the camera moves subtly, we are in the perspective.
You're
of,
the film geek. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the
absolutely.
film geek, and when you watch a movie like this, you're like,
It's hard not to see those things. Or
I can't find art to talk
no, there
about.
isn't.
Really.
There.
So, There really isn't. But I'm wondering, and I'm reaching, but I'm wondering. The scene when the tow truck gets there and he goes, "You're dead," and we realize that Amber Heard has her hand on the gun in Nicolas Cage's like waistband, and the guy also has his hand on a 357 that's in the door, and he goes, "So are you gonna keep stroking that 357, or are you gonna help us?" And as I say it, I realize more and more that it's just such a reach that it's probably not at all in the film.
I have to hear what it is now.
The scene from Tombstone, where Kurt Russell's character walks over to the loudmouth at the poker table, and the guy like pretends to reach for his gun, and he goes, "Pull it. Go ahead and yank that smoke wagon and go to work," and slaps him. Part of me is like, this has some touches of like gunplay, and everyone knows Tombstone. Is that maybe a nod?
It might be.
Because the line has the same structure as yank that smoke wagon and go to work, or like pull it. Go ahead, pull it. You know, but I don't know. I don't know because it's like Psalm 122.
You might be gifting that to the movie.
Can we gift it?
We will. Let's gift it.
We gift this to Drive Angry or Kooky Cults and Car Porn.
Kooky Cults.
Way to go, director, for your Tombstone reference.
Exactly.
I found a very interesting review on this IMDb.
Yes, the Independent Movie Database.
Yeah, a user review too. He named it, "He's just kind of angry."
He's just kind of angry.
That's amazing.
And he gave it a 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10, you know.
2 out of 10.
I would read everything that he said, but he was very angry about this
What
film.
a dick.
He's
2 out of 10.
He gave
angry.
1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs.
That's too much.
That's hardy.
Like we're
paragraphs.
so what? We're doing an hour and change
We're
on it. But...
we're creeping up on searchers
All right,
territory.
we never do this, but let's do it. Let's do out of 10.
Okay.
And we've watched it in different circumstances.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that this is not an objective rating. I'm not saying how good this film is. Let's say like enjoyment of the movie. I would give this like a 8, but because of like Zombievers. Zombievers is dog shit, but when you watch it with a group of people, that's like an 8 out of 10.
No, I would
Tucker
agree.
and Dale versus Evil. Maybe not objectively great.
It's an 8 out of 10 though when you're watching it with a group of people.
So this for me was that class of movie. I would give this like a high 7, like a 7 point something, or like a low 8. This was I enjoyed
like
this a lot.
4.5.
You're like a 4, but not like a 2.
But no, not a 2. 4.5.
So
it's
it's still dog shit, but not super stinky.
Super duper stink. This is Sharknado 4.
Okay, come on. Give me one reason why I shouldn't shoot you in the face. I'm driving. Come on, man. Come on. Give me a 5. Just give me a 5, Carl. You know.
4.
Maybe we'll watch it again.
I have to come back to it.
Yeah.
It has to stick at the 4.5.
Dude, that's one of the...
At least you're not like this person giving it a 1 out of 10.
That is pretty trash.
That is very bad.
You have to give it at least a 1 because it is a movie.
Yeah. You watched a film.
Right.
It's a
1.
It's a film, and it's over 60 minutes long.
Yep.
Has credits. There's a score.
Is there?
No. Amber Heard's in it.
Amber Heard's in it.
There's
Jeez.
this.
Oh man,
She's
I'm not
very cavalier
sure.
about having just blown away 2 state troopers too.
Yeah, her whole big thing is like, it's not even like I took a human life. It's like, well, you made me a dead-gone criminal.
Right. It's like she's not even really mad about it.
And she only kind of killed one because the one killed the other one.
That's true.
So
but she set the dominoes in motion.
When she shot that cop to death. Didn't really have no emotions.
No
about
problems
it.
at
She
all.
was more like irritated that she
You know
murdered
what?
a cop.
She is our generation's Linda Hamilton, where she started off as a waitress in a diner, where the one
Just a small town girl?
no
Okay.
no. No, Terminator. Like, so Linda Hamilton, waitress, and then ends up having to, birth the savior of the world in John Connor.
Right.
Sarah Connor. I said Linda Hamilton, who plays Sarah Connor in the original Terminator.
Did Linda Hamilton give birth to John Connor? Or was it Sarah
Connor gave birth to John Connor.
John Connor.
But
Do you think
this
Sarah Connor's a Linda Hamilton fan?
Like that kind of made my brain hurt.
Oh,
I would
could see
say
it.
yes.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Especially with all the work she did with her, getting fit for Terminator 2.
Sorry, I saw a note.
think she would.
I saw a note I took. I wrote, every vehicle in this movie is made of nitroglycerin.
Yep.
There's movies where cars explode, and then there's movies where cars explode needlessly.
Yeah.
Like in this one,
how does a trunk explode?
The hydrogen truck that the guy's surfing on or whatever, he like bumps a cop car and it blows the fuck up.
Completely explodes.
I'm pretty sure that the car, when the accountant and John Milton are racing down that bridge side by side, which, come on, the accountant doing the roll down your window motion, the accountant again saving this fucking movie. Yes. But you
got the God Killer.
If you remove Nicolas Cage and just think about the accountant, does this movie become a 5? If you take Nicolas Cage out of the movie and just think about the accountant.
Oh, it's a 5.
It gets so it gets better. Yeah, the accountant's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
But in that scene when Nick Cage shoots him and both cars crash, Nick Cage's car crashes. He does hit his brakes, but just kind of bumps. I'm pretty sure the cop car does a kickflip before it flies off the bridge. It
does.
It hits the guardrail and does a front flip before ever it falls off the bridge. It goes straight up in the air and flips over, spins.
And then you get a cut to a shot of him in the driver's seat, just sort of.
Yeah, and he's kind of miffed.
Yeah,
looking on it. Look on his face. He's like, the car's falling. Oh. He's waiting to hit.
Right, just waiting to hit the water.
And then again, but I was gonna say how could you not? But it's an accountant scene.
Yeah.
When the two stoners find the car and he kicks the door and it nails the one guy. That's fucking funny as shit.
It is funny. He's like, "Oh, you almost killed me." He's like, "No, I won't see you again until you're about
72.
Yeah,
or whatever.
You, I'll see in 3 months."
He's like, what does that mean? I love that they both, when they find the car, they both hit the 1E or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If I were out and I see a disaster, I'm not what would make this better? Being high.
Let me just have one more hit.
Oh my God, no. But they talk through the smoke. Kudos to those actors too. Yeah. Because talking through smoke is hard, and they also. There's a difference when you're talking through cigarette smoke. You see that in movies all the time.
Yeah.
When they're just talking and smoke is coming out. It looks cool, is whatever. But there is a difference between talking through cigarette smoke and talking through pot smoke.
Right.
And I think that the actor who gets hit with the door does it really well. He has that kind of nasal no man.
Oh right, yeah, he's holding in the smoke, not wanting the smoke to go.
He's talking, but yeah, I thought I appreciated that small. So my favorite performances so far are naked stripper girl on the ground, obviously the accountant, and stoner guy who gets hit with the door. Those are the strongest performances in a movie where probably 90% of the budget went to 2 actors.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard.
This guy gave it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, we gotta hear this. 10 out of 10, you said? Mm-hmm. Speak right into the end of that bad boy.
Good movie. Don't understand why people really hated it. That's the heading. That's the heading. I honestly don't get why people thought this movie deserved at 5.9 out of 10. Honestly, the action is great, the blood is great, and the story plot was great.
No, not the story plot. I will say the action was great, though. This is a good action movie.
Yeah.
A father out for revenge, a man or woman out for revenge in any movie is great. It's really exciting to see what will happen next or later on.
I have now lost all I've given this 0 credence.
Yep.
I can think of 10 movies off the top of my head where revenge plot is shitty. Shitty revenge movies.
But honestly, I loved the car actions. But
yes.
Then again, I'm in love with muscle cars like the Chevelle SS was amazing.
Car porn.
And Charger was too great.
The Chevelle was pretty hot.
The Chevelle was hot.
That looked good.
And sometimes I was like, what the fuck? Because of how...
So are we. How
he got shot in the eye and didn't die and stuff like that. But then I kind of realized on how his life is.
Somebody's not paying attention to the film. He gets shot in the eye, and I'm like, what?
But yeah,
look at that Chevelle.
I loved it and can't wait to see Ghost Rider 2. Now let's read this one.
I can't wait to see. You don't need to read anyone else.
He goes to Ghost Rider.
All right.
I know. Yeah, what we were saying, this is almost like the spiritual success.
This is Ghost Rider 3.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, Car Harder.
Car Harder.
This guy said
Car
Nick should
Harder.
be caged for appearing in
Oh.
See, he's clever, though.
Yeah.
He is clever. All right.
Moving on.
Yes. I have I honestly only have a couple more things. But speaking of that, Chevelle.
Yeah.
When at the end when they're gonna stab the baby, if you hear a car if you hear
This broke game. At the end where they go to stab the baby.
If you hear a car roaring off in the distance and you know that means that Nicolas Cage is coming to stop you from stabbing the baby, don't you just stab the baby? Mm-hmm. Don't you just immediately go? And he hears the car for like 20 seconds. He's like,
oh yeah.
He's got the knife. He's ready to go. And he's like, I hear a car.
There's the car.
You guys hear that? I think a car, and you can hear his followers be like, stab the fucking baby.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, wait a minute. I got to deal with this car thing. And then Nick Cage jumps it through the flaming pentagram. Yes! Come on! And
that last scene was the best of all the driving that car around on fire through all these Satan worshipers. Just firing through holes in the windshield, firing out the. Oh my God, man! Yep.
It's okay. So that's
a fun scene. That is a fun scene. If the whole movie had been that, again, it would have been like Crank.
Yeah.
You keep that.
You keep the tension high,
and make sure that your lead actor is awake for their scenes.
Right.
I think would be
get the guy a cup of coffee or a beer out of a skull. Drinking beer out of a skull. Come on, that's kind of fun.
Kind of want to try it now.
Especially when he goes to throw the skull and he's like, "Why would I waste a perfectly good beer cup?"
Right.
He puts it in his jacket. But
son of a bitch.
The fact that he didn't stab the baby, I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm like rooting against Nick Cage. I'm like, do it. I dare you.
His entire motivation for the whole movie is to get the baby and stab it.
Right. And
he has the baby and the stabby thing, and then he doesn't stab the baby.
We're fine. Kill the baby. If you kill the baby, the movie's over and Nick Cage loses. Nick Cage loses. I love the fact that the accountant is like, he's basically just a jail warden. He does not condone of people sacrificing babies in his honor.
Right.
He's a very gentle, reserved man and very well read. I like that description of Satan.
Yeah.
I really dug that. So two things. When Nick Cage dies, that fake death scene where he pretends to die so that Amber.
Oh, right.
I wrote down death scene. And Nicolas Cage died from the exhaustion brought on by the weight of saying his lines. That's literally how that death scene
You can't punch
felt.
one more word out of his mouth.
He's literally
done.
like, and I want you to like take care of the baby or something and make it your own and maybe he just fell asleep and they're like,
maybe he just fell asleep.
They're like, make it a death scene. Cut away. Cut. Nick. That was awesome. We had like 27 more lines, but that felt like the right time to end it.
Perfect.
Which is good because we're out of money. We spent $50 million. I don't know on what.
I'm not sure on
Probably
what.
blowing up cars.
Yeah, that can get pricey.
My last positive thing I will say about this movie, I promise. I can't believe how slobbering I am right now.
You really are. I'm impressed.
And again, though, I want to reiterate, this is not a good film. This movie's dumb. It's dog shit. Almost all the performances are garbage. But if you watch it with friends, if you watch it with a couple of drinks, this movie's fun. It's a fun movie.
I'm looking forward to that at some point.
I'm glad. Eventually we should do that. We'll have a big old night where we watch all the movies you don't like. 5.5?
Maybe.
I'm going to get you more than one beer then.
Yep, probably two.
Per beer, points
per
go
beer,
up.
right? Oh, yes.
You're like,
count me in,
I'm going to give this 11.
9.5.
Like it goes up to 10, Carl. You're like, 11. I love it.
If it's an IPA, I mean.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll get you some hop slam and just jack that scale.
Just jack that scale way up.
Okay, the scene when the woman is chasing, he's in like I think he's in like a mechanic shop or like an oil change warehouse.
Because that's a thing that exists.
It's fucking huge.
No, it is.
It's like an airplane hangar, but there's one
car lift.
There's a car lift like pit in the ground where you do like the car drives over it and you do the oil change or work underneath it or whatever. And the SUV's driving towards him. Come on, this is such a good shot. He's like firing through the window, and they do that blood spray, and then the SUV drops into the thing. And I don't know if they doubled the shot because it is a static cam, so you can double that fairly easily. You just shoot with the guy standing there, and then you take him away and you shoot. But it looked to me like a stuntman with balls of steel actually stood on the edge, stood like a couple feet back from the edge, and let a car just smash into that fucking hole. And if they did that practical in one shot, that was one of the coolest stunts I've ever seen. If they did it in a two shot, it still looks badass, but less respect. A little bit less respect. What's with Nicolas Cage in Louisiana?
He likes to do that really bad accent, doesn't he?
He does, but he also
would do that accent.
Betrayal. Right. Isn't it Betrayal where he does the Nolans accent?
He does it in Con Air as well.
He does, but you know what? It's weird though. Like he bought he owns the largest grave in New Orleans, which I went and saw. It's a giant pyramid. It's 20 feet tall.
Holy shit.
I'm not kidding. It's in the one of the oldest, most famous. It's in the same cemetery where Marie Laveau is buried.
Oh, wow.
His grave is less than 25 feet from Marie Laveau's grave. And it's a fucking massive pyramid. I think they said it cost like $40,000 or something like that.
Oh, my Lord.
He also owns the LaLaurie House in New Orleans, which is supposedly the most haunted house in America. So he owns, I think he owns another house down there. So he owns a bunch of property in New Orleans. He owns a huge grave where he will eventually go when he dies in New Orleans. And I can think of, Port of Bad Commander.
Bad Lieutenant,
Port of Call, New Orleans. That takes place in New Orleans. Betrayal, he's the mayor of New Orleans. This film, they drive down to, is it Louisiana? They drive down to Louisiana in this movie. He plays someone from Louisiana in Con Air.
He is obsessed with
He
Louisiana.
fucking loves Louisiana.
He likes parishes.
This was even filmed in Louisiana as well.
Yeah, well, you can tell.
Well, yeah.
When they're driving the car, that scene, there's a couple of, I'm not going to give this movie cinematography credit, but there's a couple good shots. And one of them is that long highway shot when they're shooting down the highway and they're driving through. You can tell that's Louisiana because it looks like not quite bayou, but you're getting
you're getting some of that.
You're heading towards bayou.
That hard
country.
target kind of bayou.
Right. I literally couldn't. I have nothing else.
This movie has exhausted me.
Okay, so do you regret watching it?
No.
Okay, yeah, me neither.
No, I
clearly,
don't.
yeah.
No, I'm giving this a 4.5 currently.
Right, not great.
Not great, but
It's
I chuckled. I was like, I see what you're doing there.
there's a couple of funny bits.
Yeah.
I think context with this. Ooh, I got 3 mics running, so one of them picked that up, and we drew attention to it too.
Nice.
Carl farted, everyone at home.
Oh, fantastic.
Classing it up. Well, I'm glad that we had all of our listeners for 4, 8, 9. This is our 9th episode.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look how good we're doing.
I'm having fun.
I got nothing else, but I'm really okay. I think this is a fun foray.
I'm glad that we
Nicolas
started
Cage
with
month.
this in Nicolas Cage month,
Right.
because you can only go up from here. But
starters,
if we had started with Raising Arizona and then this is like the second or third movie,
it would have felt like a dip.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I think if you're going to start off, if you're going to review this movie in a Nicolas Cage month, you start your month off with it. So I'm glad that we started with it.
Yeah, I also think that if you do a month of Nicolas Cage, you have to have a mix. There has to be like genuinely good Nicolas Cage performances, but you can't look away from the fact that as an actor, he's known for bad movies.
Yep.
So I'm glad we got a shitty Nicolas Cage. We're gonna do 2 very early, very young Nicolas Cage.
Valley Girl and Raising Arizona.
And then we're gonna do when is Kiss of Death?
Kiss of Death was like 95.
Is that post? Yeah, Raising Arizona. Okay, so we're doing Kiss of Death, Valley Girl, Raising Arizona, and I guess we'll get to it in that episode, but I just want to kind of feel you out here. Do we agree? Is Raising Arizona Nicolas Cage's best performance?
Yeah, I mean,
off the top of your head,
top 2. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, obviously we'll dig into it more, but I'm glad we're gonna tackle that.
Yeah,
I think we're doing that next week. So anyway, I got nothing else for this movie.
I'm good. I'm spent.
Okay, cool. So housekeeping time.
Yep, do it up.
All right. You were actually talking before we started about changing how you wanted the social media
for
stuff.
Facebook, they can just find me at my personal Facebook, which is Karl Hartley.
Karl Hartley with a Karl with a K.
Karl with a K.
All right.
Hartley with a T-L-E-Y.
I'm pretty much not on Facebook. It is linked to my other accounts. So when I'm mostly on Instagram as actual Max P. And then when I post on Instagram, I post also to Facebook and Twitter. I'm progressively more active on Twitter because I've met some pretty cool.
I will be going away from Facebook for the most part, so
we'll figure out where you're going. Yeah, we'll tackle that when we cross
most likely
that bridge.
Twitter. So.
Right. I found some cool communities there, so I'm a little more active on Twitter, but still Instagram is the place to find me. But if you want to find more of all of the shits that we're doing, especially the measuring flicks type stuff, that's over on patreon.com/Max Peterson. We are doing the main show. It will always be free. We're doing it on iTunes. We might eventually do it on places like YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud. As of right now, we're just on iTunes and my website. But if you head over to Patreon, you can get. We're doing almost like a concurrent show. We're doing a lot of Patreon episodes or planning them. So, for example, we're going to do over on Patreon, if we cover, say, Die Hard in our main series, we're going to do all of our sequels over on Patreon. We're going to do sequels. We're going to do modern remakes of old movies that we watch. And we're also going to do some movies that we're just not going to cover because they might not necessarily fit in the main season.
Right.
Or because they are a bit too much for our main season, which is what we're doing now over on Patreon. Currently, we're working on a 4-part series of all of the I Spit on Your Grave movies, which we've
got one down so far.
We got one in the bank, and we're working on more. But we're doing that with my hyper feminist wife Bird, I was very surprised at how much she enjoyed this film.
Yep.
And
spoilers, she liked it.
She liked it a lot. But it's not all going to be all beyond the pale horror films. We're also doing next up, we're doing a Guillermo del Toro series. So if you're looking for bonus content, and we're not doing 15-minute bonus episodes. We are doing full bonus episodes of the type that you find in the main series. You can get shout-outs. You can get access to Season 0, which the Bronson episode in particular is very good. And that's pretty much that. If you want to find out more about non-podcasty type stuff, like film projects that Karl and I are working on, music projects, things of that nature, you can go to quillandfilmproductions.com, and that'll be the catch-all place. That's also where I host this podcast and the other podcast that I do with my wife, Chatman and Robin, for all things comics and geek. I got nothing. I literally have nothing
Tank
else.
is empty.
We're fucking out of gas.
Except for your outro, sir.
Which is, oh my God, I totally forgot that I even do this. No!
Every time.
All right, what is my outro gonna be this time? It's usually something related to the film.
Well, because the tank is out of gas.
That's true, so it'll probably just be like, there's that bit in the beginning. All right, no, that doesn't work at all. This is terrible. Oh, no. So, well, you know what? Welcome. This I'm going to reference a movie that we're not covering this month, but is a Nicolas Cage film, which many people are familiar with. So, this month we are, welcome to Nicolas Cage month. I hope you enjoyed our first episode. This month we are going to take you all the way through Nicolas Cage from A to B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, WXYZ!